Hello everybody. Welcome to the Chief Architect webinar on kitchens and baths. Today we are going to design the kitchen that you see on your screen here. We call it the galley kitchen with coffer ceiling. As we get started, I'm going to review the cabinet tools that we have with Chief Architect. And there are two specific ways you can design with the cabinet tools in Chief Architect. One is to use the custom cabinet tools. Or two, you can use manufacturer catalogs, and these are available for download off of our website. And with the different tools, you can literally create thousands of combinations of different kitchens and cabinets for your design work. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to open up Chief Architect, and as you browse down our catalog, I'm going to come in and find one of our manufacturers. And I'm going to select our Yorktown cabinetry, and I'm going to choose their sink base. I'll go ahead and place this in our plan here, and then I'm going to place a custom cabinet from Chief Architect. Now I'm going to take our 3D overview and let's explore the different cabinet options that we have. The cabinet on the right is our manufacturer cabinet from Yorktown. It's a sink base, and what I'm going to do is let's browse in and find their door styles, and we'll come down here into Cambridge. And once you find the door style, you can simply click on the cabinet, place the object, and we'll do the same thing for the drawer. Let's go ahead and replace that with a square door. So you can go through and make all of the changes and customizations just like you would do if you're designing out of your spec book. Once we have the door styles in place, of course, you can change the wood species and colors. See if we can find a different color in here. And all we have to do is click and place that stain on the different objects. Of course, you can do it on an individual object basis, or you can stain individual components. Let's see if we can find one with a little more contrast in here. So we can make the changes to the cabinet, and that's a manufacturer-specific cabinet. Now, the Chief Architect custom cabinet, we have the ability to resize that in 3D. You also, every single object with Chief Architect, let's go ahead and pull this over here just a little bit. You have the ability to customize this object. So if you come down here, first of all, we have specialty shapes. So if we want to make this a bow front cabinet, we can make it a bow front. You can change the dimensions of the cabinet, and as long as we're in here, let's go ahead and make that a 42-inch cabinet. Each time I make a change, it will actually update the preview. The cabinet, if it sits on the finished floor or the subfloor, the option there, countertop thickness, go ahead and change that to 3 inches. Overhang, corner treatment, backsplash, go ahead and remove that since this is sitting out in the room. Toe kick, if it has flat sides, perhaps it's next to an appliance. The front of the cabinet, if you want to select one of these items and remove it or add a bank of drawers, this is where you would add the face items. We support both framed and frameless cabinets. Corner options, appliance options. The door and drawer styles, much like we browsed through the library for the Yorktown cabinet and changed the door styles, Chief Architect supports a variety of generic door styles, pretty much all the common styles you might expect to find. So for both doors and drawers, you'll find hardware options, and we'll visit that when we're finished in 3D here. If we want to apply glass doors onto the cabinet, inset the doors and drawers. Sides and backs, so if you have a finished side, a finished back, you can apply panels to those. Accessories with the pilasters, cabinet feet. Let's go ahead and browse into the library of millwork, and let's apply some cabinet feet onto the bottom of this cabinet. So we'll just come down here, we'll find our cabinet feet, and we'll choose one of these that look appropriate. So finally, we've got moldings. If you're doing wall cabinets, you want to add crown molding, you can do that. Fill styles, how the cabinet might look in your plan view if you want a certain look or texture to that, you can set that up. So we have the ability to customize this cabinet in pretty much any way that you might want to create a custom style cabinet. And again, if you want to change the colors and materials and textures on this, I'll open up my favorites library and we'll come in here and find a few colors. So let me go ahead and here's a Sherwin-Williams paint, and we'll go ahead and apply that to the cabinet. And let's also change the countertop color. Open up my countertops. So you can browse in here, you can find the different colors to apply it. It's a pretty bright looking cabinet. And finally, I didn't apply the hardware when I had the cabinet dialog open, but you can do that in 3D, just like I'm changing the colors. If I open up my cabinet hardware, go into our pulls, and we'll find a pull that we can apply, and just click on the front of the cabinet. And you can do the same thing to the manufacturer cabinet. Oh, I placed that on the drawer. Let's find our horizontal pull and place that on the drawer. And so those are the two different ways cabinets work in Chief Architect. Let's go ahead and move on and begin our design work with our kitchen. Now that we've covered the two different types of cabinets Chief Architect offers, let's go ahead and let's begin our design work on this kitchen. As we take a look at the menu system in Chief Architect, you'll find common architectural objects for doors, windows, cabinets, electrical, stair tools, ceiling tools, CAD tools, elevation tools, and of course our 3D and 3D walkthrough tools. I'm going to choose our wall tool, and I'm just going to drag out a rectangular room. And I'm not going to worry too much about the dimensions at this point. And once I have the room shape in place, I'm going to choose my dimension tools. And I can do this with automatic dimensions either in inches or in feet. And to begin with, we'll just use feet for the outside of the walls. And you can select a wall, easily resize it, or you can come in here and type in a precise dimension. So again, you can either reposition the walls by clicking and dragging, or you can highlight the dimension and add that. Now, if you're a kitchen and bath designer, you're more concerned about the dimensions for the interior footprint of the room. So I'm going to change our dimension defaults that I have to the National Kitchen and Bath Association defaults. And then I'm going to run a dimension for the interior of our room. And I've got 300 inches down here. We'll just go ahead and pull that. And let's go ahead and run one more dimension up this side of the room. Come in here. And it should be 240 inches. And we'll just go ahead and pull that around to this. Now if you zoom in, the wall that I have drawn is composed of layers, and this dimension that we just drew on the inside is going from the edge of the sheetrock. And so when we begin our design work, I'm using the precise footprint of the inside of this room. With the shape of our room in place, I'm going to use my 3D camera tool, and I'm going to take an overhead shot of the design that we have so far. And we can rotate around. And while in this view, you can continue your design work. I'm going to select a couple of windows. I'm going to come in here and simply click and place these. These windows you can select, you can reposition them, you can resize them in 3D. And you can also open them up. I've got a little open button down here. Click on that. And you'll notice the same tabs that we discussed earlier with the cabinets are applicable to the windows. They're applicable to all objects inside Chief Architect's catalog. So as you go through all of the different options, you can change all of these settings that you want for that particular object, and you can customize it in any way. Doors work the same way. Remove that window. I'm just going to select a door. And again, if you want to reposition it, resize it, as well as open it up. Again, the same tabs that you want to customize it. Now, All of the objects that I'm using here are custom objects. You can use manufacturer catalogs for doors and windows as well if you have a specific manufacturer in mind. Let's go ahead and remove that door as well, and I'm going to zoom in to the back wall of the design here. Let's go ahead and pull this down a little bit, and we'll just zoom in, and I'm going to open up our catalog. And the first thing that I want to do is I want to place a cook range along this back wall. So I'm going to browse into my library, of which I have over 10,000 items, both generic or custom and manufacturer specific. So once I find the cook range that I want, go ahead and select that, and I'll just place this here along the back wall. Now, with the cook range, I'm going to use my center tool down here in the toolbar on the bottom of your screen. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on the center of that wall, and it will exactly center that range on the wall. I'm going to use the cabinet tool, and I'm going to choose our base cabinet, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to snap a cabinet next to the cooktop that we have. And as we noticed that previously, you can click on the cabinet in 3D and you can resize it. And if I click the open button down in the lower left hand corner, we have the ability to resize this cabinet and make any changes that we want to it. Now, the cabinet that I'm using happens to have different attributes. I've set those up in my template plan that we're using that has different colors, countertops, and even room height, floor coloring, and all of the things that you see in this design are all set up in a template plan. As we open up this cabinet, the first thing I want to do is I want to change this door swing from a right door to a left door. And I'll select that, and I'm going to place one more cabinet, and let's go ahead and snap it to the other cabinet. Notice how it automatically joins the countertops. Let's open up this cabinet, and while you can resize the cabinet in 3D, you can also do that in this dialog as well. I'm going to set that to 27 inches. And what I want to do is I want to create a bank of drawers for this particular cabinet. So I'm going to remove that set of double doors that we had. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to choose this Add New button. And I'm going to choose a drawer, and then I'll set the dimension for that drawer. And we'll go ahead and we'll add a couple more in here. Let's add another drawer, maybe make it a little bit larger. And then finally we'll convert this opening to a drawer as well. So pretty easily I was able to create a bank of drawers. And the next thing I want to do, you'll notice in my 3D view that my countertop is bleeding over onto the edge of our cooktop. So I'm going to select both of these cabinets, and I'm going to come in here and specify that it has flat sides. And then the other thing is I'm going to remove the backsplash off of this cabinet, both of the cabinets, because I want the backsplash to come down from the wall cabinet above. So as we make those changes, you can see the update in the 3D view. We've been designing in our 3D perspective view. With Chief Architect, you can design in this view, the plan view, or the elevation view, or you can design in all views simultaneously. Sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you'll find one of the views easier to do your design work. I'm going to go ahead and bring up both of our views at the same time, and I'm going to use a wall elevation tool, and I'm going to come in here, select my elevation tool, and I'm going to create a wall elevation of the wall that we're looking at over here. Let's go ahead and we'll zoom in here a little bit. And I'm going to add some dimensions in here so we know what we've got for dimensions. And I'm just going to drag a dimension through here. We'll pull that down. And I want to move this dimension. I'm going to snap that to the end of the cooktop, or the cook range. So I want to place a refrigerator and perhaps a couple of wall cabinets above this area. To begin with, I'm going to place a wall cabinet, and Let's go ahead and let's pull our perspective 3D view over a little bit so we can see what we've got going on the left side of the screen. With our cabinet tools, I'm going to choose my wall cabinet tool, and I'm just going to come in here and click to place a wall cabinet. And I'm going to resize this cabinet to 48 inches. Then I'm going to also resize it to 18 inches. And we'll just bump this up a little higher for the time being. And now I want to place two partitions that will serve as the slot for our refrigerator. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to grab our partition tool, and let's go ahead and select that, and I'm going to drag that up to 84 inches. And we'll just snap it to the side of the cabinet, and now I'm going to create a copy of that. Got a copy tool down here in the left in the bottom menu, and we'll just slide that over and create a copy of that partition. Now this wall cabinet above it, let's go ahead and pull that down. And let's open that wall cabinet up. And what I want to do is I want to change the depth of it from 12 inches to 24 inches. Make that change. And let's go ahead and do the same thing with our partitions. Grab both of those partitions, and we'll open those up, and we'll change the depth to 24 inches. So now I've got the slot for our refrigerator filling in. And the next step I want to do is I want to place another wall cabinet to the right of this partition. So go back in to our wall cabinet tool, and we'll simply grab that, pull that over so that it lines up with the base cabinet below, and then let's go ahead and stretch it up so that it matches the top of the other cabinet. Now I want to create a set of double doors on this cabinet, so I'm going to choose my open button again in the lower left hand corner of your screen. And I'm going to select the top of this cabinet, and what I want to do is I want to come in here and add a new set of double doors. So I'm going to choose that from my drop down, and I'm going to set that to be 18 inches to match the other cabinet that we have set up. We'll just change that to a double door and choose OK. And you can see in our 3D perspective view on the left-hand side of your screen how that's coming along. And what I want to do is I want to add a crown molding that will come in along the top of both of those cabinets. So in my wall elevation camera, I'm going to select both of those, and we'll go ahead and open up both of the cabinets. And I'm going to come in here to the molding tab, and I'm going to choose a crown molding out of our library. Let's browse down into our crown molding, and we'll find a profile that we like. Now with Chief Architect, you can use the different profiles that we provide to you. You can draw your own, or you can import those from a millwork manufacturer, and then the program will automatically extrude that in 3D. Let's change the height of this molding to 5 3/4 inches. We'll set it to maybe 3 inches for the width. And then let's offset that off the cabinet to 5 5/8 inch off. And you can see the preview here in our dialog. Choose OK. And there's our crown molding. For the cabinet that's above the base cabinets here, I want to add a light rail so I can put under counter lighting below that. And I also want to have the backsplash extend to the base cabinet below. So let's go back into this particular cabinet alone. And again on the moldings tab, I'm going to browse in and add a new molding. And I want to make a light rail, so I'm just going to choose a basic profile for our light rail. And again, let's go ahead and set the dimension for that. We'll just set it down to be maybe a 1/2 inch in width, and then we'll offset that off the bottom of the cabinet down here. Tough to see, but there's a bit of a profile in this dialog down there. And finally, I want to choose this backsplash option that says backsplash to base below. and that will extend the backsplash off of that cabinet to the base cabinet below. Once we select OK, you can see the update in 3D. Let's go ahead and pull this cabinet over so that it snaps to the edge of our base cabinet. Now, let's take this back wall, and I'm going to symmetrically copy the cabinets. And I'm going to put a wine refrigerator on the left side and a regular refrigerator on the right side. So by symmetrically copying this, I'm going to come in and I'm going to select all of our cabinets here. So I'm going to select by shift clicking the different cabinets. So I got the two base, the wall cabinet here, the partition, and then the other partition. Got them all selected. I'm going to come down into our toolbar down here, click copy. Then I'm going to reuse the reflect button, and I'm going to reflect that about the center of our room or the cooktop. Now if we zoom out in both of our views here, you can see that I have symmetrically copied that grouping of cabinets, and I've got it set up so that it's pretty easy to do my appliance selection now. While in our wall elevation, let's go ahead and I'm going to grab this diamond and we'll add these dimensions to the new cabinets we just added. And we'll snap that into place, and we'll snap one more into place off the edge of this wall. We'll snap that dimension to the end of the wall. And now I'm going to run an end-to-end dimension. We'll snap that in place. And let's pull that down. And then finally, I'm going to use my centerline tool, and I'm going to create a couple of center lines. But before I do that, let's go ahead and add the remainder of our appliances into the design. So I'm going to open up my library catalog, and I'm going to place a wine refrigerator, if we can find that. A wine refrigerator in the opening over on the left-hand side. Grab our wine refrigerator, and we'll click and place that into that position there. Let's go ahead and reposition that just a little bit. And then let's find our regular refrigerator. Pull this over here and place this in an elevation view. And I'll place that into place. Now, the final thing, let me find a cook hood. And let's place our cook hood in this above the area. You'll notice that I accidentally placed it because my view was off, so I'm going to use my center tool and we'll center it based on that. Now back in the wall elevation, let's go ahead and let's add our centerline dimensions in here. So I'm going to use my dimension tool. I've got a centerline dimension tool. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to place a centerline dimension. Let's go ahead and pull this down. And then let's go ahead and let's add a centerline for the cook hood and range. One for the refrigerator, and then we'll pull the last one over here to the line. Let's adjust this other dimension. Okay, we'll zoom out here just a little bit, and we've got the dimensioning set up, and I'm going to go ahead and add just a couple of dimensions off the vertical side here. So let's just drag an end-to-end dimension down through the top of the wall, and we'll pull that over. And then let's use a dimension tool, and we'll just drag a few dimensions down through here. And we'll pull this dimension over as well. Now, if we don't like some of these dimensions that were picked up, we can easily grab these and pull them off. If you want to pull those off, you can just grab that arrow and pull them off. But I'm going to go ahead and leave them. And let's move on to the next step. I want to add a custom backsplash behind the cooktop and the hood. And I'm going to use our CAD tools. I've got a tool up here called the Polyline Solid. I'm going to come in approximately. I'm not going to worry too much about being overly precise for the webinar. And I'm going to create a marquee outline for the cook hood backsplash. And I'm going to come into my plan view, and I'm just going to snap this back against the back wall. And as long as I'm in here, let's go ahead and open that up, and let's set it to be 1/2 inch in thickness. So we've got our backsplash built, and we don't have any materials on it. And I'm going to go ahead and let's bring up our perspective 3D view here. I'm going to go ahead and open up our catalog browser, and let's have a little fun with our materials, colors, and textures. So if we browse to our library, I actually have a shortcut to some of my favorite items. I'm going to open up some of the countertop colors. So we can come into the counters. I've got different colors you can apply. Oh, that's pretty bright. You can apply to the different items. You can see if you like those things. See if we can find a different tile. And you can just come in here and apply these colors to the different objects. See if I can come down and find a backsplash tile that we can apply. Again, all you have to do is click and apply those to the different components. See if we can find a little brighter glass. So I'm going to click and apply this to the backsplash. And if we zoom in here a little bit, you can import your own tile. So if you find a digital photograph, if the manufacturer isn't available, your client may bring you a photograph. You may find one on the website. You can make those changes. But I'm going to make a modification to this tile that we have on the backsplash. First of all, I want to change the glass to be vertical. So I'm going to click on this texture tab here, and I'm going to increase the size of it. So I'm going to change that setting. And then I'm going to rotate the angle to be 90 degrees. And then you can visualize the change. We'll make a copy of the material. You can visualize the change that you want. So you can have fun changing different colors. You're not limited to pretty much anything. Let's shrink this up. You can paint your walls, you can paint your countertops, your flooring, and let's see if we can find a few different colors in here. Browse in here. So if you want to change different components, you can change those, visualize what they're going to look like. See if we can find a flooring color in here. Click on the flooring. And perhaps I'm looking for Sherwin-Williams black bean. Let's go ahead and type that in. Black bean. See if we can find that color in our library browser. And let's go ahead and apply that to our cabinets. So if you like that, I'm going to change it to our entire room, and then when I click, it will paint all cabinets in the room that color. Now for these two wall cabinets, this one and the other one on the right side, I'm going to open these up, and let's check the front of this cabinet. And on the door and drawer tab, I'm going to go ahead and change those to glass style cabinets. And then let's go back into our library, and I'm searching for textured glass. And once we find that folder within the library, take a second for it to load up. Let's browse in and find textured glass. Let's just scroll down here. And then we can apply that. Let's change it to the component so we can just spray it on the different cabinets. So we can have some fun and make this kitchen look a little bit more interesting. You can even go as far as putting dishes inside the cabinets, which I'll show you here towards the end of our presentation. Now I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to get started on the island. And I'm going to build the island actually in reverse so that it's facing towards us and we'll be able to see it a little bit better. I'm going to build our kitchen island out in front of our cooktop. I'm going to use my cabinet tool here, and I'm going to come in and I'm just going to place a couple of cabinets inside facing us, and then we'll rotate it around once we're finished. So I'm going to grab our base cabinet tool, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to click and place a cabinet. And let's go ahead and resize this cabinet down. In fact, let's see if we can open up both views at the same time. As I'd mentioned, sometimes depending on the view you're working in, it's easier to get to do your work. I'm going to stretch this cabinet to be 36 inches in our plan view. And then I'm going to place one more base cabinet next to that. And then place one more next to that. Let's go ahead and make these both 36 inches. We'll just snap it to the other cabinet. And I'm going to take this cabinet and I'm going to create a cabinet for our sink base. In creating a sink base cabinet out of my custom cabinet, I'm going to open it up. And on this drawer, I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to remove that drawer off of it. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in to the front of this cabinet, and there's a button here called Specify Shelves. Since it is a sink base, I'm going to go ahead and remove the shelves out. And that way it's better set up for that sink cabinet. In my 3D view, I've got a bunch of different options that I can filter on. I'm going to toggle to our glasshouse view. This is going to allow you to see right through the cabinets. You can see the different shelvings that we have set up, and sometimes it's kind of handy to be able to see in through there. We have a vector view, a watercolor view, so depending on what you're after, you can see what those look like. I'll show a little bit more of that later here in our video. Now, I'm going to open up our library again, and I'm going to place a couple of appliances in these cabinets. So I'm going to browse back down into my favorites category. I'm going to find a sink, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click on this particular cabinet, and then I'm going to find a dishwasher. Perhaps I want to find a drawer dishwasher, and I'm going to click on the cabinet adjacent to the sink. You'll notice if we zoom in here just a little bit, the faucet off of the sink that we placed, I'm going to use my color match material off of the dishwasher. I'll come in here and I'm just going to apply that onto the sink. So color matching works pretty nice. Now, with the cabinets for our island, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to symmetrically copy them as we did on the back wall. So I'm going to grab both of these cabinets off of the left of the sink. I'm going to use my copy tool in the lower left-hand corner, and I'm going to reflect those around the center of the sink. And so you can see that's pretty easy to quickly make the work. I'm not going to worry about the door swings or anything of that matter right now. But what I do want to do is I want to use our custom countertop tool, and I want to create a bar situation off of the back of this cabinet. So to do that, I'm going to use our custom countertop. You'll find that tool right up here in your menu. And I'm just going to drag a countertop that will be out here a little ways. And I'm going to select this countertop, and let's go ahead and open it up. And a couple things that I'm going to do. One is I'm going to set the height of this to be 42 inches. And then I'm also going to set the thickness of it to be a thicker countertop at 3 inches. We'll accept that. And then I'm going to select the dimension. Let's go ahead and set that to be 18 inches. And then let's set the other dimension here to be 12 feet or 144 inches. And now I'm going to use my center tool, and I'm just going to center that on the center of the island, and we'll just pull it out here. I'm not going to worry about the dimension over the top of that. So now I'm going to use either some corbels to support this, or in this case, perhaps what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some standoffs, and I'll use my CAD tools to do that. And as we get started, let's use our color chooser tool here, and let's just paint the countertops here so that use this so we can see this a little bit better. Use our room tool. We'll just click and apply it all to all the countertops here. Okay, so I want to use my CAD tool. I want to create a series of standoffs so we can support this elevated countertop. So I'm going to use my CAD tool, and up here in our menu I've got a sphere, and I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to drag this sphere, and with my open option I'm going to set the radius to 1 inch or a 2-inch diameter. I'm going to set it to be 6 inches high, and I'm going to set it to be 35 inches off the floor. Now you can see it floating off in space here above our countertop. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to position that right over the other cabinet. And if we rotate around, see if we can rotate around here just a little bit so we can see what we've got going on. As long as we're in here, let's go ahead and select these couple walls so we can toggle those walls off, get a better look inside. Select these 2 walls, use my open tool. There's an invisible option, allow us to see in tight spaces a lot easier. Okay, so we've got that standoff set up, and if we rotate just a little bit you can see where that's at. Now I'm going to copy that sphere that we just built instead of individually building all of them. And I've got a multiple copy tool down here in my toolbar. And I'm going to set that multiple copy to be, let's say, 22.5 inches. Then I'm just simply going to drag that down, drag a series of those down here. Then I'll use my center tool and we'll just center that on the center of that island. Now I'm going to take and let's create rounded corners. I'm going to use a chamfer tool in Chief Architect, and let's actually set that radius to be 2 inches. And I'm just going to come around here and click on the edge of the countertop, and we'll chamfer each one of those corners. That way it will look a little more finished. Let's work our way around here. Click on this edge, click on my chamfer, and now I've got that set up. So our island's coming into place, and again, if you want to match the color off of the cabinets, you can simply apply that. And one of the nice tools about Chief Architect is if you've done very much design work, you can group select these items and save it into your library. So I can group select all of these components in here and save it into my library. Simply block it, and then I can save that into the library. And if we give it a name here, let's go ahead and type this in, and we can save that in there. Now, if I've actually gone through and created this island previously, and I've created accessories, so if we want to just simply delete the island that we had been using, I'm going to browse into the library, and I've saved that up here in my favorites short list. I'm going to come into my islands section, find that in here, and I've added accessories on it, and I'm simply going to click and place that into the design. And do so, I'm just going to bring up our plan view, and I'm just going to click and place that into the design. And let's use our dimension tool. Let's set that to be say 60 inches off the edge of that other set of cabinets. And then I'll use my center tool, and I'm going to center that, click the wrong center, I'm going to center that on the center of the room. If we go back into our 3D view, here we've got the island complete with all of the accessories. The great thing about architectural blocks is it allows you to save your work, whether it's a kitchen island, grouping of cabinets, or for that matter an entire room or bedroom set, whatever it is, and you can then save that into your library and create your portfolio. Place a couple of more accessories, and then I'm going to move on and talk about custom ceiling, and then creating our materials list, and then our layout schedule. As we move forward here, remember we do have a person here available chatting, and please feel free to send your questions in, and we'll help you out. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to grab a furniture grouping. Here's a dining room table, and I can place this actually in 3D. I'll just pull our view over here just a little bit, grab our preview of that item, and then we can place that in our 3D view. If I bring up both the plan view and the 3D view, I just pressed Shift F6 on my keyboard, which tiles those views. I'm going to place just a couple of accessories in here. Sometimes just these simple accessories might help you sell just one more job. Let's pull our view over here a little bit so we can see what we've got going on. So I'm going to grab the bowl of apples, and I'm just going to simply click and place that over here on top of our counter. Place that over here. Let's go ahead and pull that in, reposition it, and then I'm going to show one other thing just to point out how our color chooser works. I'm going to choose a mixer here, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to place that over here. Cancel that. Pull that over here. Let's go ahead and open this up. And I want to set that to be 36 inches off the floor since I didn't click above the cabinet. And then I'll slide that in on top of our counter. And I'm going to use the color chooser just to give you an idea how this can work to have a little bit of fun with your design work. So with the color chooser, if we zoom in here just a little bit, I'm going to use the color chooser and I'm going to create a new color. So I'm going to come in here to my library and I'm going to right click on the library for new color. And I'm going to then add a new color, and let's call it Blender Orange. And with my color chooser, I can actually come in here and drag off of any color that I want on the screen. It's not restricted to the screen inside Chief Architect. So if you have a color from a digital photo, your client brings you something, then you can add that. Now I've added this color called Blender Orange, and all I have to do is point and click on that object and you can make the changes. So whether it's a cabinet stain color, custom color for the wall, you can have fun making those colors with the color chooser tool. Okay, so I'm going to move on and let's take a look at our ceiling. Close this 3D view. Okay, so we had a customer send in this kitchen off of our Facebook page for the preparation for the Kitchen and Bath show. And we want to replicate this style of kitchen, complete with the soffits and the coffer style ceiling. So I'm going to come into our plan view, and first of all, let's turn off a couple of layers. Chief Architect is layer based, so I'm going to turn off just a few of these items, clean it up just a little bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and go back into our wall elevation. And I want to place a soffit off of the top of the wall here. And if we let's bring up both of our views here. The first thing I want to do is I want to open up this room. And I just double clicked inside of here. And the first thing is let's go ahead and give this room a name. We'll name it Kitchen. With Chief Architect, you can actually set up by room name certain defaults, so your flooring materials, your molding styles, colors, textures. So if you have a client that you know has certain tastes, you can do that at the beginning of the project. When I started with my template, I have basically a 9-foot ceiling. You can see in the diagram on the right here that our ceiling has depicted on that diagram. I'm going to increase this by 12 inches, so I'm going to enter in 121 inches. It's not exactly 120 inches because of the platform thicknesses, which is probably difficult for you to see on your screen, but I've got a finished floor and sheetrock ceiling thickness. And as I've done this, you'll notice that we got some extra room above the cabinets, and I want to use my soffit tool and come in here and place it. And since I've turned my walls invisible, I've got a little bit of an extra space on the refrigerator just because that wall's invisible, but don't worry, if I turn that back on, that will close that up. I'm going to use my soffit tool here, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to double click on my soffit, and I'm going to enter in, first of all, I want the thickness of this to be 12 inches above my cabinets. And not that it matters, but I'll just set the width to be 36 inches, and we'll set the depth to be 36 inches. That way it can step out from the cabinets. So I'm going to come in here and click to place the soffit. And if we zoom into our 2D plan view on the right hand side of your screen, I'm going to highlight that soffit since it might be a little bit more difficult to see in the elevation view. I'm going to simply snap that to the edge of our wall over here, and we'll just drag that all the way across. And then with my copy tool, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to reflect it about the center of the room, and we'll create a copy on the other side. And then I'm going to create one more copy, and then we'll just drag it into place on the other side. Let's go ahead and rotate that. Use my rotate handle here, just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to rotate that, and then we'll snap it into place. We'll just pull that over here, snap it against the wall, and then we'll drag this side over, snap it in so we create the outline of that. So I've got my soffit on the lower side of the screen there. Again, I'm going to use my copy reflect tool down here in the menu, and we'll just create a copy of that. I'm going to close my elevation view, and let's take a perspective overview here. I've got this perspective floor overview camera. We'll maximize this just so we can see what we've got going on here just a little bit. Rotate around. So what I want to do now is I want to create the beamwork that will go inside of our soffits. And much like we use the CAD tool for backsplash, I'm going to use the same tool, and I'm going to create our beamwork. Of course, Chief Architect does offer custom framing tools, so if you want to use framing members, you can do that. But I'm just going to use my, it's called a polyline solid. I'm going to zoom in on our plan view, and I'm just going to come in here and roughly create the beam. And let's go ahead and highlight this dimension because I'm going to want it to be 8 inches. 8 inches wide, and let's open that up. And since I've changed my ceiling to be about 10 feet, I'm just going to come in and lower it just a little bit, 119 inches, and then we'll set the thickness of the beam to be 8 inches as well. Now, you'll see in our 3D view, there's the starting of the beam, and I'm going to use my copy tool. And I'm going to set my copy to be every 40 inches. And I'm just simply going to grab that, and I'm going to create a series of copies of that beam. I'm going to highlight all of the beams, and I'm just going to use that center tool. You'll find some of these tools are pretty handy, as we like to use them to quickly center or position objects. And so I've got the beams set up to go vertical. And I'm going to create a copy of those, and I'm going to actually create a copy using my transform replicate tool, and then I'm going to rotate those 90 degrees. Enter in 90, and then let's go ahead and snap these back against this back wall, and then we'll just pull these, let's delete one of those since we got a little smaller space. Grab each one of these beams here, and then let's center it again inside the center of this room. Use our center tool, and then let's just snap those to the edge of the soffit. Just pull those out. You'll notice that I get a red indicator when I snap to that soffit, and then I've got it set up. Okay, so I'm going to change our view here. Let's go ahead and zoom in just a little bit. So I've got my beam set up, and I'm going to use my color chooser. And I'm going to pull it off of my cabinet. And again, you can change it on a single beam at a time, or I can do all of those beams just by simply changing the mode of my material painter. So we pretty easily created our custom ceiling. Now with Chief Architect, you can actually create a variety of ceilings. Bring up a couple of images here. So Coffered ceilings, you can do an inset ceiling and set a molding in here, tray ceilings. That was the kitchen that we just did. Vaulted and cathedral ceilings with beamwork in there. And of course, we support barrel ceilings, and this is a barrel coffer, kind of fun. Chief Architect supports a variety of rendering styles, and this is our basic rendering that we have. There's a vector rendering. You can click on these filters in the top of your toolbar, and you can simply just toggle through those. So vector rendering, we've already shown off the glass house rendering. We support watercolor, painting, and then ray trace rendering. These rendering styles take a little bit longer to run. This is a ray trace rendering of the scene that we've previously done. And you'll notice that, of course, you get reflections. You can set in a backdrop, set the sun angle, and do all of the lighting, and creates very realistic views. Sometimes you're after more artistic views. We have line drawings, so you can toggle that on, and provides a nice view of the way the portfolios look. And here's a monochromatic view. You can set the color settings for that. The vector view that we just shown, and then the watercolor view. So it gives you a variety of options to share your portfolio, email them to your clients, put them on your website, and just use these to easily sell your projects to your clients. All right. As we explore our materials list and pricing information, I'm going to select a cabinet and explore the detailed costs associated with this. And in this component information, you'll see all of the components that make up this cabinet, including the countertop, the base cabinet, and the hardware associated with it. You can just turn off the display of this. So I can get this on a cabinet by cabinet basis, and you can even add additional accessories to a cabinet, such as if it's going to have glazing or any special drawer glides, soft close, whatever it may be. You can also get into the materials list for the materials of the entire plan. Come down to our materials list. And this is a spreadsheet format. If we scroll down, you'll see the category. We have our flooring materials in here. We have our wallboard, we have our windows, and then we have the cabinets. And these are the listing of all of the cabinets that we have. And again, if you want to turn off the display of your hardware, your countertops, you can do that for the display. You can enter in your pricing information, so if you want to enter in pricing for any of these objects, you can enter in pricing. Chief Architect does not ship with pricing, but you can build a master list and use that. So if you use particular items a lot, then that pricing can be saved. The final way that we can get to materials is to isolate individual objects. And I'm going to just close our 3D view here. And in our menu, I'm going to choose a new CAD detail. And I'm just going to isolate cabinet schedule. And I'm going to place a cabinet schedule. Chief Architect allows you to run schedules for doors, windows, cabinets, fixtures, electrical, furniture, and room finish. So for our cabinet schedule, I'm going to drop down our cabinet schedule, which is just isolated for the cabinets only. And as long as I've got that, I'm going to turn off some of the items. Since I've used a custom cabinet, I don't have any manufacturer, and we'll just remove those columns from being displayed, so that when I create my construction drawings and place that out there, I've got that set up. Now if I return back to our plan view, you'll notice that the cabinet labels are now being displayed from our schedule, so that correlates to that schedule. The final aspect that I'm going to show is creating your construction drawings, and Chief Architect calls this facility the layout facility. With the layout, you can set up your construction drawings and define the scale, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up a new layout. And when I open up a layout, I've got my template set up. You'll notice my title block here has company information, logo. You can define all of these and import your own, set up your own template so you can do this. My layout is 24 inches by 36. Chief Architect includes a PDF print driver, so if you don't have a full-size print driver, you can send that to one of the office stores and print it. But you can also print any size that you want. If we return back to our floor plan, I want to send this out to our layout and set the scale. And I'm going to turn off the layer for the ceiling coffer that we have set up, just so it looks a little cleaner. So I'm going to open up our layer display, and I'm going to come in here to our default CAD layer, and I'm just going to remove that check mark so that it cleans up our diagram just a little bit. And then when I send this to layout, you'll notice I've got this option down here. I'm going to change the scale of this layout to 1/2 inch equals a foot. And we'll send that to the layout page. And let's go ahead and I'm just going to pull that down in here to do that. So anytime I click on this, it's linked to the original floor plan. So if I reopen this, and let's say I remove the living area, I close that, you'll notice that it's automatically updated and linked in with one another. Let's return back to our floor plan, and I'm going to open up the wall elevation that we had previously created. And I'm also going to send this out to our layout page. I'm going to toggle my color off. And I'm also going to turn off architectural blocks so that we don't see the bowl of apples in here. Turn that off. And if we want to turn off the default CAD so that those ceiling beams are off on this as well, that'll just clean that up. And actually, let's turn off our opening indicators for our cabinets, make it a little crisper look to the view. So I've got this elevation page, and I'm going to take and send this out to our layout. And again, I'm going to set our scale to 1/2 inch. And I'm going to place this on the same page as our floor plan, and we'll just pull this over to the side here. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a call-out marker so that we know which elevation this is referred to. So my text marker, I'm going to use a call-out. I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to call this call-out A. And I'm going to display a line, and let's go ahead and put an arrow on it. And let's increase the text to, let's just make it 1/4 inch. Zoom in here a little bit. I'm going to grab this arrow, or this line, and pull it over. We'll also point this arrow up. And finally, I'll add a little bit of text, north wall elevation, and again we'll change that to be 1/4 inch. And let's also add a scale indicator, since I don't think we put that in our title block. So we'll just say 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. I'm going to leave that smaller font size, and we'll just stick this down below. And then, as long as I'm in here, I'm going to take this marker and we'll create a copy of it. We'll just pull it over to the floor plan. And let's open it up. Let's remove the line off since I don't think we'll need that. And we'll just pull the arrow around. Now I want to add the cabinet schedule that we have and also tie one of our images on to this, import one of the images. Perhaps we'll just pull this elevation down just a little bit. I'm going to go back into our cabinet schedule that we had, and I'm going to send that out to our layout. And we'll just accept the defaults there. And we'll pull this cabinet schedule down into here. I'm not spending too much time to make this look overly pretty. I'll show you what it might look like with a clean one at the end. There's our cabinet schedule, and then the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to import a rendering of the kitchen and apply that to our construction document. So up here in the menu, I'm going to go to File, Import, and we'll browse out to the area that we have that in. Select that picture and we'll resize it down. We'll just put a smaller dimension on it, and then we'll just slide that over here. So it's a great way to augment your, looks like I accidentally moved my cabinet schedule back around. It's a great way to augment your detailed drawings with images. And I'm going to go ahead and bring up the completed drawing so we can see what it might look like with the construction documents if you spend a little bit more time on it. So I've added a few renderings in here, the vector view in the upper left-hand corner, the monochromatic watercolor view, our cabinet schedule, the fixture schedule, and then we've got our floor plan view. We've got a call out with the back wall, the island, side of the island, front of the island. We go to the next page here. This is just the detail on the back wall elevation. And go down. Here's a call out again with the island. We've added a little more detail with a rendering on here. And you can see that you can get very nice presentation drawings with the drawing. I think the last view I just have is of the finished project. So I wanted to thank everybody for attending today's webinar. And if you have any questions, feel free to chat them in. There might be time for a few more questions. And that's it. Thanks for coming.